Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Keith, and I'm sure glad you stopped by today. In today's video, I invite you to come along with me as we fire up our charcoal grill, and we're going to be putting some ribeye steaks on today. Now, this is something you asked for. A lot of you have asked for a steak video, and that's what we're going to deliver on today. Now, my wife and I both love our ribeye steaks, so I've been working on this specific technique and recipe for a number of years. And I'm going to take you A through Z, start to finish, through the whole process. And I'm confident if you put in work on your specific grill and follow the steps we talk about today, you're going to be able to make some amazing melt in your mouth ribeye steaks that look like these and taste like these, that your family and friends are going to absolutely love. That sounds good to you? Let's dive in. Before we get into today's video, just wanted to give a huge thank you to our channel members. Channel memberships are a great way to further support the channel, get additional perks, and access to more exclusive content. If you'd like to learn more about our channel memberships, please see the link in the description below. Today we're going with one chimney starter full of Kingsford original charcoal briquettes. My preferred way for lighting charcoal is by using chimney starters. I stopped using lighter fluid years ago. If you need some additional help with using chimney starters, I'll drop a card up above and drop a link down in the description below to a video dedicated to showing you how to use chimney starters. Here's a rundown of the seasonings we'll be using today: some extra virgin olive oil, some sea salt, and some black pepper. First thing we're gonna do is pat our steaks dry and remove any excess moisture. This is an important step. Excess moisture is gonna prevent our steak from developing that nice outer crust, so definitely don't forget this step. Now let's talk about what to look for when you're in the grocery store, at the meat market, and you're trying to pick out some ribeye steaks. So you want to get some ribeyes that have some nice marbling to them. That is, you want some that have some visible fat tracks throughout the meat. As we cook the steaks and those fat tracks melt, that's going to help keep our steaks moist, help tenderize them, and also add some additional flavor. There's sometimes when you're looking for a ribeye, you're just limited by what's in your area and what you have access to. So if you have a ribeye steak that does not have a good amount of marbling throughout, what you can do to tenderize the meat is get a meat tenderizer hammer and lightly go over both sides of the steak like I'm doing here. Now, I didn't say do it heavy, right? Well, you don't want to go overboard with this, because if you use a meat hammer too much on these ribeyes, you can change the texture and make them mushy. So you want to use this meat tenderizer hammer ever so lightly, right? Just to help mechanically break down and tenderize the steak, but don't overwork it, because we don't want to make it mushy. All we're looking for here is to break down some of the fibers just to help our steaks get a bit more tender. Now we're ready to apply our seasonings. First, let's rub down both sides with some extra virgin olive oil. Olive oil serves a couple of purposes. One, it's going to help protect the moisture in our food as we subject it to some high temperatures. And two, it's going to help us build up a nice outer crust as well. Let's now add our dry seasonings. It's important here that we work the seasonings into the meat by patting or rubbing so that they really penetrate those fibers. This is going to help further tenderize the meat and ensure it has a complete and uniform flavor profile throughout. After seasoning the meat, I like to let it sit on the countertop for several minutes to allow it to come up to room temperature. This is going to help those muscle fibers relax. This is an additional step I like to take to help ensure our meat gets tender. For today's grilling session, I'm going with my standard vent configuration. We'll set the intake vent to be wide open, and we'll set the exhaust stack to be set to about halfway. If we need to make any adjustments, we'll make them to the exhaust stack. But honestly, I very seldom make any adjustments at all to my vents. Through a lot of trial and error, I found that my grill drafts and performs the best with this vent configuration. So I just like leaving this alone. And if we need to make any adjustments for the sake of temperature, I'll make these to either the meat placement and fuel source. If you want more details details on my philosophy for maintaining temperature on a charcoal grill, I'll drop a card here to a video for you to check out. For today's grilling session, we'll be using the 2-zone technique. This technique is where you separate your grill into 2 zones. Zone number 1 is where we'll place our charcoal. In this zone, we'll be doing our searing and allowing our food to absorb those intense charcoal flavors. Zone number 2 will not have any charcoal. This is where we'll position our food to create that convection oven-like environment that will allow our food to cook more evenly and gives it an opportunity to absorb all that smoky flavor goodness. When you're setting up your grill for the 2-zone technique like this, make sure you position your coals to be on the opposite side of your grill's exhaust stack. This is going to force all that smoke and flavor to travel across your food before exiting out the exhaust vent. If you're using a kettle style grill, you simply turn your lid and position the exhaust vent on your lid to be on the opposite side of the charcoal. After getting our coals on the grill and letting it reach a temperature of ideally 500 degrees Fahrenheit, we're now ready to clean our grates. I'm going to use my grill brush to clean my grates. Make sure you use a quality grill brush. I'll drop a link down in the description below to some brushes I recommend. After each grate is clean, let's apply either some olive oil or non-stick cooking spray to our grill brush so that we can lubricate our grates. In order to prevent your food from sticking to the grill, here's some things to keep in mind. Number 1, make sure your grates are clean. Number 2, make sure your grates are lubricated. And number 3, make sure your grill is hot before adding your food. If you do all 3 of these steps, you should significantly reduce the chances of your food sticking to your grill grates. Let's go ahead and put our meat on the grill. We're going to position our steaks in zone number 1 first so that they can get a nice sear to lock in some initial flavor and start to build up that nice crust. My wife has just joined us to put some squash on the grill as well. She rubbed these down with some extra virgin olive oil and seasoned them with some black pepper and sea salt. And man, I already know these are gonna taste good.
Gotta need some room for my steaks when they go indirect. So.
Okay. Can they go over here?
Yep.
We're going to let them go for about 5 to 6 minutes before we go back in. Keep in mind we're cooking directly over the coals right now, so I'm not going to leave my grill. I'm going to stay right here to monitor for any signs of flare-ups, such as aggressive sounding sizzles or sudden fluctuations in the amount of smoke our grill is generating. It's been about 6 minutes since we were last here. Here's a shot of the temperature gauge. I like what I'm seeing here. Let's go ahead and get these flipped. It's been about 5 to 6 minutes since we flipped our steaks. Now we're ready to move them to zone number 2. Now let's add a small to medium-sized hickory chunk to zone number 1. I love doing this for some additional flavor. Since we've added some hardwood to our grill for additional flavor, let's get the grill closed and keep an eye on the exhaust stack to make sure we're producing a nice clean smoke. As you can see here, we're looking good. The smoke coming out of the exhaust stack isn't thick and white, it's thin with almost a blue color to it. That's what we're looking for. That means our wood is burning nice and clean. It's been about 10 minutes since we moved our steaks to zone number 2 and added our hardwood. Here's a view of the temperature gauge. I want to go in here now and get an internal temperature reading on our steaks. We like our steaks medium well, so I'm looking for an internal temperature of about 145 to 155 degrees Fahrenheit. If you like your steak cooked at a different level of doneness, you would just simply adjust your cook times accordingly.
Go right on the money.
As you can see here, our steaks are hitting our target internal temperature and they're ready to come off the grill. So let's go ahead and get our steaks and squash off the grill, and I'll see you at the dinner table. All right, y'all, it's time to dig in. Date night ribeyes. I got my beautiful wife over here to my left, so we're about to do this thing. Yeah, remember, date night ribeyes. I'll give you a view of what we're working with here. We got our ribeye steak, we got some grilled squash, and we have some corn tortillas. Off camera, my wife just commented how good the squash was, right? That wasn't a feature of today's video. Remember, that was just a bonus. So let's try this squash out. Y'all see the nice grill marks? And we also had that hickory smoke going on with the squash. So let me take a bite. Wow. It is good.
Really good.
Man, that flavor is like really complex on that, man. That's good. Burst in your mouth. That hickory is really a nice little touch. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. Now let's go in on this steak. Oh yeah, no knife. It's coming in, y'all. Got me one of those little corner pieces. You know what I mean? Yeah. When I do my ribeyes, I like the little pluck test. I shouldn't even need a knife. I just take it and just pluck it like that. Oh yeah. That's it. Man, with ribeye steaks, I'm learning, just keep it simple. You don't need a whole lot of seasonings. You don't need to do this and do that. Olive oil, black pepper, sea salt, man. That'll definitely get the job done. Super tender, super flavorful. And when you go indirect like we did, right, for the second half of that cook, you would go indirect as long as you needed to hit the doneness temperature you're looking for. Remember, we're looking for medium well. My wife and I like our steaks medium well. So that's what I was shooting for there with the temperature. Get you a nice instant read thermometer too. That'll help you take some of the guesswork out of it. But yeah, this is great. I'm gonna try some of this corn tortilla right here. And then I'll tear me off another piece of this steak to go with it. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's what I like in my steak. You know, that medium well, just a nice little thin piece of pink right there. It is medium well, right? We like medium well. Yeah, medium well. And then I'm mixing it with the little, got my little tortilla here, corn tortilla. What you think, y'all?
It's good. It's really good. Here's the spot.
I was telling them how long I've been working on this recipe.
You perfected it. It's good.
How we both like our ribeye steaks, and man, soon after marriage, getting on that grill and just coming back and trying to dial it in. But what I learned after experimenting with all different kind of seasonings is just keep it simple. Olive oil, black pepper, some salt. You can set that steak on the counter. Remember doing that before you put it on the grill. Let it come up to room temperature. Really let those fibers kind of relax a little bit. And that 2-zone technique. Zone number 1, did all our searing, locked in that flavor, locked in that sear, locked in that texture. Then we moved it to zone number 2, and that's where we really got that convection oven style temperature and heat and smoke circulation going on, and then added our hickory chunk just to add that another dimension of flavor. So man, this is awesome. Y'all give this recipe and technique a try and let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, hit that subscribe button and click that bell so anytime we drop a new video, you'll be the first to know. Hit that like button and leave me some comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in any of the products we used in today's video, we'll leave some links down below. Hope you have an awesome day, and thanks for watching.